YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I'm your host TKK and we are back with another video, guys. Today's video is going to be an interesting talking point. It's actually a burning topic right now, very trending. The PlayStation 5 Pro is out. This is the second day of its availability for consumers right now, okay? This video is going to feature some timestamps. They're going to be impactful with this video because that's how I'm going to be able to segregate my talking points with the different chapters. So feel free to utilize the timestamps so that you can get to a space where you might want to get yourself entertained. At some point within this video, we are going to have some gameplay. So we're going to just start right here with the video expectations. What I like to do with this video is I like to just have some discussion. I don't really want to have an argument. I'm not looking to make an argument. I am a upper echelon, high gaming PC player, okay? So I do own a couple of 4090s, and every time there's a new iteration of a high-end graphics card or processor, I'm jumping on it. That's just how I am. But I do also have kids, and I've done builds for people, and so I have a pretty good experience and understanding as to like different levels of building gaming PCs, okay? So what I'm looking to achieve within this video is just to, like I said, start some discussion, okay? I want to talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. Great console, comes in at $700, and because it is $700, it makes this type of discussion easier, okay? If this were 4 years ago in 2020, when the original PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X came out, it'd be a lot harder to have this conversation. The reasoning being is because, we'd be faced with consoles that were cheaper. $400, $500 is really hard to discuss as to how you can build a PC. Well, within this video, we're going to be talking about this PC that's to the left of it that does have some older components into it, and how you can just look into what type of options that you have with PC versus what you're missing with a brand new $700 console. We're going to get it going right after this intro. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes. PC versus console. It's an endless war that people have and they go through, and it just seems like it just comes up every single time there's a new iteration of a console or just a brand new console in all totality. There's always this discussion, this war, like I said, PC gamers not understanding why people want to buy consoles, console gamers not understanding why, PC gamers are having an opinion. I don't know. And then you get a guy like myself that does both. I have kids. Like, things have to make sense, right? So you buy a console because it's just practical. Like, from the dawn of time, it's just practical, right? We bought into console games for originality, for home use, and we also bought into them for a replication of a replica of what we got from the arcade. So there's many ways you could play different video games. You're either going to do a console or you're going to do an arcade. Well, at some point we got PCs that became available, and we have platforms like Steam. It just makes it so accessible where we have the opportunity to play a lot of these similar games, if not more or less. And eventually now we start to get a lot of these console games that come 2, 3 years, 4 years on the PC. You can take it even further. If you look at Red Dead Redemption 1, that just came out 13 years later, finally on the PC, and it is definitely the definitive way to play. I digress. The purpose of this video is just to talk about like the price point and what you're actually getting. So as I said, I'm not looking to make an argument. I just want to raise some awareness because I realize that there are a lot of people just looking at my most recent video comparing or doing an initial impressions of the PS5 Pro on this beautiful 83-inch LG G4 OLED. I see a lot of people just had questions, and I just felt like, hey, I'd make some content. So like the foundational base of this gaming PC, this is going to be a whole new timestamp right here. Right now probably would cost you, I'm going to say what it cost me or it would cost me. So the graphics card that's in this PC is an RTX 3070, okay? The cheapest 3070 that I've seen that you can buy brand new on Amazon comes in at about $299 as of me looking at, some options on Amazon, okay? Now I have an Intel i7 10700K, so that's a 10th generation i7 processor that's inside of here. I know I got this for $100. I had a plug with someone that worked at Intel, and they hooked me up a couple of years ago. I didn't need it for anything, but I'm one of those types where I'll buy some extra parts and just have them sitting around for when I want to do a build. The motherboard cost me around 60 bucks. It's an ASRock board, nothing fancy, doesn't even have Wi-Fi. I've got 16 gigs of DDR RAM. You can get RAM so cheap now. This RAM probably was about 55 bucks. It's Corsair Vengeance. I believe it's 3200 megahertz, again, 16 gigs. And then we've got a 1 terabyte M.2 drive that's there. So it's not even a Gen 4 drive, which is some of the advantages you're going to get for PS5. It does actually have a faster drive than what I can have for my gaming PC, but nonetheless, we've got a solid state drive. We've got a power supply that cost me about 60 bucks. The case was around 40 bucks. So you can run those numbers. Another $40 for the CPU cooler. And that's what we've got. You can get this build. I don't know, if you part around, look around. I just so happened to, have some parts laying around, and I put this thing together, and I thought it would be cool for this video. So you get that. Obviously, you need to buy an operating system, but I'm not trying to go too technical as to all the different costs. The bottom line is this thing is valued at around $700 to $800, which is comparable to the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is $700 before you pay any tax. Now, let's just talk a little bit about what you get with one versus the next. So one thing that we need to be blindingly clear about is that consoles are in every way, right? These manufacturers are looking at ways to get their consumers more options. That is the goal, right? But when you play a game on a console, you are playing the absolute most optimized version for that piece of hardware. When you play the same game on PC, it's completely open. The best analogy I can think of is to compare a person using an Apple phone versus a person using a phone with an Android operating system. Not even focusing on the hardware of the phones with the two different companies, just the operating system. You are so much locked out of what you can do with an iPhone, so that would be more comparable to the PlayStation 5. And if you go with an Android, it doesn't matter if it's a Samsung S model, maybe a Google Pixel, your operating system opens you up to so many more things that you can get done. That would be the PC. So as I was just discussing, when you play a game, let's say The Last of Us Part 1 or the remake or remaster, however they, titled this game, right? When you play it on the PS5, it is Pro Enhanced, and we're going to take a look at that within this video. You got your set options, but it's optimized for the console hardware. Manufacturers are not going to give you so many options to where you would break the experience. It defeats the purpose of you paying for the game to actually be able to experience it with it working from start to finish. On PC, it's a little bit different. You have the ability to run it so high past what your actual hardware specs are till you can break it. And by breaking it, I mean just the software shuts down. So it's completely just open for you to do whatever you want to do. Add to the fact you can outsource third-party software like modifications to change, different settings, different animations, different graphics, and there's just so many more different things that you can do, okay? On the other side, with PC, you're gonna have more access to different resolutions, okay? One of the biggest things that I just covered on this 83-inch LG G4 a couple of weeks ago in a review I did that was all PC gaming was that you can do things like ultra wide functionality. And a lot of people don't understand what that is, but an ultra wide is pretty much going to put you in a place where you get to see more on the screen. So when you're playing games like Call of Duty, Apex, games like The Last of Us, Spider-Man, God of War, Assassin's Creed, many of these games, be it multiplayer or single player titles, are going to put you in a position where you can see more than what you typically would. With consoles, it's just not an option. 16:9 is what you got. But again, the games are made to be optimized on that platform. And it doesn't matter if it's Xbox or PlayStation. But in this case, the PlayStation Pro is going to be optimized with whatever you play. You're going to be playing it as good as you can. All right, so now that we got some meat and potatoes down for the discussion, we know what kind of hardware we're looking at. I just want to talk about like how I got some of this hardware. I actually did a review a couple of years ago. I bought my son an Alienware desktop, and once the warranty ran out on it, I built him another computer, and I took that computer apart, snatched out some components that I had put in there. The graphics card was the biggest thing, and I just had it sitting around, and so here we are able to make this content. So that's one thing that you want to be conscious of with PC. The processor and the graphics card that I talked about are from 2020. That's the era of that generation, which ironically is, again, when the PlayStation 5 came out. The PC that I took the parts from, or the graphics card at least, actually had this same processor inside of it. And I paid about $1,500 for it in 2020. So let's just do the math. If I'm still using the same parts, essentially, okay, because his gaming PC has 16 gigs of RAM, it had a 750 watt power supply, which this does, had a RTX 3070, which this does, had a 10700K i7, which this does. I paid $1,500 for that. And that same year, depending on if you paid a scalper or not, you paid $500 for your PlayStation 5. Well, depending on how this, transition goes today with me comparing these two consoles, today now you have a PlayStation 5 Pro, which if you did buy it, you paid another $700. Whereas to me, I pretty much could have had the same Alienware computer that I paid $1,500 for then. And depending on how it goes, again, we may still be having value to it. Either way, we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. So the next transition is going to be us taking a look at some gameplay. So let me know what you think. All right, now since I want the focus of this video to be surrounding my LG G4 OLED, I am going to go ahead and start doing one comparison or get some gameplay going on the PlayStation 5. And then what we'll do is we'll come back around to the gaming PC, right? So this isn't going to be like a 2-screen setup or at the same time. You just have to utilize the timestamps to put yourself in a position to kind of go back and forth. This is being filmed in 4K at 60 frames per second with HDR, okay? Now I'm going to be using The Last of Us Part 1. A couple of reasons why. And you can go ahead and you can judge me all you want, but to this point, I've never played this game. Now, here's an interesting topic or talking point to this, right? Some may say, what? You never played this? What are you talking about? This is exactly why the PlayStation 5 Pro exists, because people have backlogs of catalogs. They have a backlog of their catalog of games, okay? This is also why it's not such a bad idea to wait for games to come out on PC also, because unless you're rushing to be the first person to play and beat a game, and if you're working and if you got kids like I do, you got a business to run, you know what I mean? You got things going on outside of you being available to game all the time. You're going to amass some type of library of titles that you will have to come back to at a later time to play. And so once you get so far gone and you play something, if you know that there's a more definitive way to play it, i.e. going from a PlayStation 4 to a PlayStation 5 Pro or a PlayStation 5 to maybe a higher end gaming PC, like you're going to want to play it on the best hardware to get the best experience. Let's get to some gameplay. Okay, so getting the initial setup of this is again PlayStation 5 Pro. Okay. All right, so we got some different options here. This is pretty cool. So let's go Pro. Okay, Pro Enhanced render on the PS5 Pro console, rendered at 1440p, output at 4K. Target is 60 frames per second. Performance is going to be balanced resolution and frame rate, render at 1440p, so QHD. Then output upscale 4K 1440p. That's pretty awesome. Performance looks pretty good. Then fidelity is going to be favor resolution over frame rate, rendered and output target 30 frames per second. Okay. Let's see. The screen is hella bright, man. Woo. Bright, baby, bright. Super bright. Okay, so we're gonna go with the Pro. That seems pretty good, man, because I mean it goes to target 60 frames per second, so that's actually really good. We want to turn on HDR, give you the on-off, flicker in it just so you can be able to see some differences. Okay, so it looks to be the base of the settings, or the foundation of the settings. me get some volume in here. Man, that was weak. Ooh, that's bright as hell. Camera's just trying to keep up with it. Okay. Just want to take my time, get a good look at this. Never ever played this game. Ever. Hopefully it has a compelling intro because I can use this.
Tommy, listen to me. He is the contractor. He's the contractor, okay? I can't lose this job. I understand. Let's talk about this in the morning, okay? We'll talk about it in the morning. All right, good night.
Hey.
Scoot.
Monday at work, huh?
What are you still doing up? It's late.
Good, what time is it?
It's way past your
But
bedtime.
it's still today.
Honey, please not right now. I do not have the energy for this.
Here,
What's this?
your
The
birthday.
screen is bright, man. So it definitely looks like it's clipping at some angles. I do these videos for TV content also, but it looks good.
So I figured, you know. You like it?
Honey, it's
What?
nice, but I think it's stuck. It's not.
What? No. Oh, ha ha.
Where did you get the money for this?
Drugs. I sell hardcore drugs.
Oh, good. You started helping out with the mortgage then.
Yeah, you wish.
I'm assuming this is his daughter. I got 3 of those myself. So this is good content because I should be able to run this through on PC also, and then you guys can kind of, you know, make your own assessment. Again, this is being filmed in 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR.
Hello?
Sarah, honey, I need to get your daddy on the phone.
Uncle Tommy, what time is it?
I need to talk to your dad now.
Uncle Tommy? Hello?
I'm going to find some point to conclude this and then, you know, start on the PC. Oh, this is great. Okay, so I can get to a little bit of motion. See if I can use some of this light to get in this little girl's face.
Dad?
I know this thing looks great on this G4.
Daddy? You in here?
Seem to be somehow connected to the
Where
nationwide
the heck
pandemic.
are you?
We've received reports that victims afflicted with the infection show
It's
signs of
nearby.
increased aggression, and
Move everybody out of here now. There's a gas leak. Hey,
there seems to be some commotion coming from the...
get the hell out of here,
What was that?
All right, let's check this out on PC. Okay, I do have my gaming PC connected, and I do pride myself to be a man of high integrity. So before we even get to looking at some gameplay, let's talk about the specs, just a showcase. Again, the CPU, we've got this Intel Core i7-10700, not even a K, so lied to you there, right? Doesn't have its own graphical chip onto it. The RAM, 16 gigs of RAM, that is Corsair. I believe this is 3200, but it's at like 2133. It just is what it is. We've got two hard drives here. We've got the Samsung 1 terabyte option there, and then I do have a mechanical 14 terabyte on here as well. Okay, and then lastly, the graphical processing unit. It's an NVIDIA RTX 3070. So we're not throwing anything in here. And by the way, I haven't done any tests here. So this is very pure, wholesome content. Again, I'm not looking to say one's better or the other, but I thought this would be a pretty cool concept. I just try to think of different ways where I can make some original like content and deliver to you guys. But there are these specs. Let's get the game running. All right, now we have the title running on PC. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the options. First is going to be display. Okay, I believe we were rendering at 1440p on the PlayStation. Display resolution 4K. Resolution scaling. Okay, we got deep learning super sample. Scaling is available with the supported hardware. Okay, it's hard to read stuff because I got the camera in front of me. All right, yeah, we are on quality. Graphics again, QHD, custom. All right, some of these options are. You can kind of see that difference. These are options you get with PC. Obviously, you can go and tweak things specifically. Look at the detail of the gun and the magazine. I'm going to leave that low because that's what the preset was. Half resolution to full resolution. Doesn't look like it changes. It says it's moderate. Let's leave it on full. Crap ton of settings. Again, no experience with this game though, so gonna just try to leave this alone as much as possible. And let's get it going. All right, let's check all this out. What this is, I have no idea. I don't recall seeing this remember seeing this on the PlayStation.
Tommy, listen to me. He is the contractor. He's the contractor, okay? I can't lose this job. I understand. Let's talk about this in the morning, okay? We'll talk about it in the morning. All right, good night.
Hey,
Scoot.
Monday at work, huh?
What are you still doing up? It's late.
Croyd, what time is it?
It's way past your
but
bedtime.
it's still today.
Honey, please not right now. I do not have the energy for this.
Here,
What's this?
your birthday. You kept complaining about the broken watch. So I figured, You like it?
Honey, it's
What?
nice, but I think it's stuck. It's not.
What? No. Oh, ha ha.
I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything because I've seen it on
I sell hard
obviously what it's optimized for first.
Helping out with the mortgage then.
Yeah, you wish.
The brightness on this G4 is kicking the butt out of kicking my camera's butt today. I've never played this game though, so again, not really familiar with its highlight details and things like that. So
You know that, baby girl.
I mean, it looks pretty good to me, It looks good to me. Like, I'm looking at the viewfinder, but I'm also, looking at the actual screen.
Honey, I need to get your daddy on the phone.
Uncle Tommy, what time is it?
I need to talk to your dad now. There's something.
Uncle Tommy? Hello? What was that all about?
Now, we know the PlayStation 5 Pro said that it would target 60 frames per second. This is important here. We do have a frame rate counter on the game, on the TV. That's unlocked frame rate on this PC. I don't know exactly how I moved on the last transition. I know at some point I turned around and tried to see her face. Turn around, little girl. Yeah. She's got that CRT. Is that a Sony TV? Damn, TV with the VCR and the VCR and the DVD with the VCR up top. What the hell's going on?
Dad? Daddy?
I mean, there's no crazy action or anything like that, but
You in here?
it's a frame rate I can live with so
Where are
far.
you?
We've received reports that victims afflicted with the infection show
That's
signs of
nearby.
increased aggression, and
Everybody out of here now. There's a gas leak. Hey,
there seems to be some commotion coming from the...
get the hell out of here.
What was that?
Let's have some discussion. All right, let's bring this content to some conclusion. I appreciate your time coming here, spending time with me. Hopefully, you got something out of this video. I want to just try to discuss a little bit of what I'm experiencing here. And again, what my intentions were behind this is not to make an argument about, oh, this PC that's got older parts can do this, or you can get this for this value. You buy into a console because it's the best version of what it is, period, point blank, right? There's a series of, titles that are going to be designed to run on it, right? I think the PlayStation 5 Pro is the largest value for people that are coming from the PlayStation 4 era. It doesn't matter if you have a stock console or if you have the professional version of the PS4. I think that if you are coming from either of those two, to the PlayStation 5 Pro, then you are in for a very good treat. I'd like to hope that people are also investing into their display. Okay, let's not forget the display is going to play the most critical piece of it, right? Whether or not you're getting a higher or mid-tier LED option, mini LED, right? Or if you're getting an OLED, or dare I say a QD OLED, right? This 83-inch G4 is a micro lens array, or MLA white OLED. Great panel technology, one of the best out there. In my opinion, the best collective TV of all time from size and performance, right? But you know, make sure that you inspect what you expect. So obviously on the PC, you know, my frame rates were, you know, going to 80 sometimes like mid 50s. You know, I think I've seen like a 49 in there. I know that the PlayStation 5 Pro, even though I didn't hit the frame rate counter, it said that it aims to target 60. It doesn't mean that 100% is going to be 60, but that's what it's trying to target, right? So obviously on the PC side, for those of us that want more frames, you can adjust your settings, right? You've got internal upscaling techniques on PC, deep learning super sample. There's some options out there for the AMD side of the spectrum too, if you are to you know, go after that. And again, keep in mind, this GPU is super old, 3070. That era is of 2020, so this is comparable to technology to the PlayStation 5, not the PlayStation 5 Pro. Consoles are going to be cheaper, of course, right? I currently game on an RTX 4090. My old lady, I got her a Founders Edition 4090. So we're talking about a $1,600 graphics card that costs what 2 PlayStation 5 Pros would cost. So you pay to play, and if that's what you're into, then that's what you're gonna get. But you know, this was a pretty cool thing. I think if there's any interest, you know, for me to try some other games, I'd be more than happy to do it. I'm not willing to put 2 screens up at the same time. I'm not that kind of a TV reviewer anymore. We did that stuff years ago. That shit was exhausting. But you know, I'd be more than happy to download some more games on this particular gaming PC and throw some stuff up there and try to compare to some professional enhanced games for the PlayStation 5 Pro. You know, hopefully you enjoy this video. As I asked earlier, I'll ask again, leave a thumb up if you did. And what's most important to me is that we have some engagement. I hope to catch you on the next video. Peace, God bless, and as I always say, Max love.